Hello everyone, Sorry here, and today we are going to do power rankings. Power rankings is an article I write for Runeterra CCG, where I rank up 8 of my best decks for a serious ladder climb. This is mostly opinion based, my own ladder experience. I will share a link to the article in the description. If you want all the deck codes, they will be there. The article isn't live right now, but it will be live when the video goes up, pretty sure. But yeah, let's start the ranking. First place is none other than Lulu Jinx. Lulu Jinx has been crushing ladder after Aatrox decks were hit with nerfs. Lulu Jinx already was doing well before Aatrox nerf, but it wasn't very popular. Once Aatrox was kinda out of the picture, Jinx Lulu just exploded, took over the ladder. It's currently the first place most played deck. It is one of the popular choices for top players, because once you hit Masters, you need a really high win rate, I think around 62 to 65%, to actually have a positive climb. So Jinx Lulu is one of those choices for top players. And it is an aggressive deck with Jinx as a win condition, and because of her rockets and the extra draws she gives you. You can go wide on the board, buff up everything with Sneezy Beagle Dust. Some lists run more Sneezy Beagle Dust, some lists don't even run any Sneezy Beagle Dust. It's, I think, more of a player preference or which matchups you want to beat. You are bad into Norra Veigar, and you're still actually bad into Aatrox. Aatrox, even with the nerfs, the deck is still good. I'm gonna talk about Aatrox in the end of the video though. We have a special segment for him. Second place is a hot take, Varus Pantheon. Varus Pantheon, we haven't seen Varus Pantheon in quite a while. It was pushed out of the meta, received a couple of nerfs. Saga Seeger got nerfed, but now I think it already made its comeback. I think its win rate is a bit high right now. I tested it out yesterday, I played it on stream. It did pretty well for me. And it beats popular matchups. It beats decks like Trundle Tryndamere. It beats Norra Veigar, which are two popular decks on the ladder right now. It also beats Gwen Katarina. So you already have a good matchup into popular decks on the ladder. It has a bad matchup against aggressive decks like Pirates, Lulu Leona Katarina, and Lulu Jinx. But the Lulu Jinx matchup is very winnable. I think it's slightly unfavored. You can get some healing with your Divine Clerk. You have some early drops to keep up with their board, and you have Pantheon that can roll lifesteal, and you also have Furious Wielder to deal with their Jinx. You have Unforgiving Call to also slow down their aggression. But for the Norra Veigar and Trundle Tryndamere, the spell shield is very important to keep your champions alive. And you have also Revive, and you have the Unforgiving Call for Trundle Tryndamere to kinda slow down their overwhelm attacks. But yeah, that's the second spot right now. Third spot is Ekko Jinx. I think Ekko Jinx is one of the difficult decks to pilot. I think if you master the deck, fully master it, you can gain insane value out of the deck. It wants to set up a board, preferably 3 or 4 units, with Voice of the Risen on the board. Voice of the Risen will buff up all your board, set up a really strong attack, commit the attack, get your units killed, revive your units with Ekko's Chrono Break, and get the rally. And from there, your opponent is going to have a problem keeping up with your attacks. It beats Lulu Jinx, which is really good because of this unit, Fallen Feline. Fallen Feline gives you the crystal. You can predict into the crystal. You have a lot of predict cards, and you can wipe out the cheap units of the board, kill them all, and it's very hard for them to make the comeback. Ekko Jinx has different versions. There are versions that run Get Excited. There are versions that also you could also add Rite of Negation into this deck to have a better matchup against Field Rush. You could add that. Let's see, I forgot what decks Ekko Jinx is bad against. Ezreal Seraphine is probably the worst matchup you could see. But you don't see Ezreal Seraphine much on ladder, so you should be fine. But yeah, you beat Trundle Tryndamere and you beat Lulu Jinx, which are really popular matchups on ladder right now. Fourth spot is Norra Veigar. The Swarm deck was bound to take over Runeterra. We had Norra Veigar, we had Heimer Norra, and we had Elise Norra, all competing on the spot on which the Swarm deck will take over. And players are now favoring the Norra Veigar deck. Norra Veigar has more of a stronger late game because of Veigar. You want to create a darkness, buff up that darkness, and Death and Ada can from there take over. Once you play Death and Ada, you will create a 0 mana darkness. If your darkness, let's say, is at 4, you can wipe out your opponent's board and set up a powerful attack. You also have removals like Vengeance. Whitus is just overpowered right now. I think it should get a nerf eventually. Norra Veigar is good against Lulu Jinx, which is a very popular matchup. It's good against Pirates, good against Gwen Katarina, Gangplank Sejuani, because Vengeance destroys them. You want to kill Gangplank, you want to kill Seju. We also beat Zed Hekari. Bad matchups, Trundle Tryndamere obviously crushes you. Aatrox decks are actually good against Norra Veigar. We will talk more about Aatrox at the end of the video. And Monoshorima. Aphelios Leona, 5th spot. Aphelios Leona has been not really very popular, but it has been a consideration for a lot of players. I saw Alan playing it as well. He was testing with it. I'm not sure how he did with it, but I'm pretty sure Aphelios Leona is a good deck right now. It beats aggro decks like Lulu Jinx, Pirates, Leona, Katarina. You also have multiple win conditions with this deck. You have Aphelios with his moon weapons, Leona with her stuns, Winding Light with his overwhelm to all the board. You also have Celestial Trifecta. You can create the Great Beyond or the other big celestial units. Except the 7 mana. The 7 mana is probably not the best with the overwhelm unit. The 10 mana is good as well. And you have Atrocity to finish off the game. So this deck is doing really well. It's not very popular yet. Maybe it will gain more popularity soon. It beats Lulu Jinx. Great anti-meta deck. Does well against Katarina Leona, Lurk, and Gwen Katarina. It loses to Trundle Tryndamere, obviously. And it's almost even against Norra Veigar. I actually forgot about Norra Veigar matchup. 6th deck, Trundle Tryndamere. It is one of the, I think it's the 2nd most played deck right now. Most lists right now are very greedy. They're not very anti-aggro, but this list is anti-aggro. We run Avalanche. You could run a 3rd Avalanche, to be honest. Maybe cut the Withering Whale for a 3rd Avalanche if you want. We have Blighted Ravine, Kindly Tavern Keeper for the healing. So you have a lot of healing in the deck to keep you up against aggressive decks. You want to beat Jinx Lulu with this list, and you also can beat Norra Veigar. You crush Norra Veigar actually. Aatrox decks, you crush Aatrox decks. Draven Jinx obviously, and Zed Hekari beats you. Zed Hekari is way too annoying. 7th spot. This is a very, very hot take, probably more than the Varus Pantheon hot take. Kai'Sa Demacia, which I only made up my mind on it yesterday. I saw some people running it on America Ladder, so I took it for a little bit of a test run, and it did really well. It should on paper beat Trundle Tryndamere. It should beat Jinx Lulu or have an okay matchup against Jinx Lulu. And I don't think it does great against Norra Veigar, but this list has 2 Rite of Negation, so it could potentially keep up a little bit with Norra Veigar. Kai'Sa is very annoying when she's leveled up. she can kind of wipe out the opponent's board if they have like cheap units with low health. You can kind of kill them all. If you can set up an overwhelm on her or scout, she becomes she can end the game pretty quickly, especially with the cataclysm. Yeah, decks like Trundle Tryndamere, Lulu Jinx, Ekko Jinx, Ezreal Seraphine, Zed Hecarim are all good matchups for you, which are very popular matchups. And bad matchups are Gangplank Seju and Norra Veigar, but this list runs to Rite of Negation, so you could be good into Norra Veigar. But Gangplank Seju is bad because of Sejuani. Sejuani will freeze your Kai'Sa, and back in the days, Kai'Sa was very OP, so you could end the game before Seju. But now I think it's way too hard. Seju hits the board and you can't do anything. 8th spot, you already saw it. Taliyah Ziggs. Taliyah Ziggs is a good deck against Shadow Isles. It beats Norra Veigar, it beats Trundle Tryndamere and Gwen Katarina. It doesn't do too well against Katarina Leona because it's very, very aggressive for you, especially with the multiple attacks from Katarina, and from Fervor and Decimate. You also lose to Gangplank Seju, also very annoying matchup. You are slightly unfavored against Lulu Jinx, so the matchup is winnable. You can sort of keep up with their early board with the Chemist and Rockhopper, and you have Drop the Bomb. You also have Rite of Arcane to kill their Jinx or their Lulu, so they don't take over the game. Anything else I'm missing? Yeah, you also have Taliyah's Overwhelm. So if you can set up a Taliyah with the Absolver, you can pretty much end the game against Lulu Jinx. They can't really stop it at all. Like they're not gonna commit, even if they commit double get excited, you have plus 2 HP from the Absolver. They can't do much to it. But yeah, this is it for the power rankings. I do have a bonus deck, which is Vayne Aatrox Gwen. Has been making its comeback apparently, even with all the nerfs. It got hit with 3 nerfs. It's still making a comeback. I haven't tested it too much. I played it a couple of games. It did okay for me. Teddy is playing it, did really well with it. And Koki Boki played it, did really well. This is Koki Boki's list. I took it from him. So I think players are now favoring the Rangers Knights Defector. I used to prefer the 2-drop because the one that gives +1/+1 makes it's kind of better against aggressive decks, I feel like. And you can catch your opponent off guard by buffing up your challenger units, making a trade good for you. But now it's Rangers Defector. That's mostly what I'm seeing. Darken Ages was cut by 2. Now we're only running 1, and we're running more Darken Spear. This deck, why is it good right now? Because it actually still beats Jinx Lulu, even with the nerfs. You beat Norra Veigar as well. You do okay into Gwen Katarina. You only kinda get crushed against Trundle Tryndamere. Trundle Tryndamere crushes this matchup. I think Gangplank Seju also does well. It was almost an even matchup before the nerfs, but now after the nerfs, I think Gangplank Seju is probably favored. I didn't put Gangplank Seju in the list, just I didn't really do well with it, even though I love Gangplank Seju. But when I was doing my climb, I just felt like the deck is, you need to draw the right cards always, or you're not gonna win at all. You just, a lot of decks will crush you, especially Norra Veigar. Yeah, Norra Veigar will crush you. But yeah, this is it for my power rankings. Obviously, this is very opinion based, but hopefully you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.